Well, President Trump addressed Republican lawmakers at a retreat this morning as his administration navigates how to proceed with Venezuela. The president insists the U.S. is not at war with Venezuela, but says current course will fix the country. Aaron Navarro reports from the White House.
Speaking to House Republicans at the Kennedy Center Tuesday morning, President Trump praised the raid to capture Venezuelan leader Nicolas Maduro.
It was so complex, 152 airplanes, many, talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground. But it was amazing, and think of it, nobody was killed.
Trump administration officials briefed House and Senate leaders on the operation Monday afternoon.
I'm not concerned about anything.
But some lawmakers were concerned, especially about the administration's plans for Venezuela's future.
Their plan for the U.S. running Venezuela is vague, based on wishful thinking, and unsatisfying.
President Trump says oil companies will have to spend what he calls a tremendous amount of money to rebuild Venezuela and will then be reimbursed either by the U.S. or through oil revenue. White House officials are set to meet with oil executives later this week.
They've got a resource that's the size of the richest countries in the world in the Middle East. This could be the biggest prosperity story ever.
Republican leaders say the U.S. military will not be stepping foot onto Venezuela.
We don't expect troops on the ground. We don't expect direct involvement in any other way.
But since the Venezuela raid, administration officials have been ramping up talk about takeover of another territory.
Greenland should be part of the United States. The president has been very clear about that. That is the formal position of the U.S. government.
Denmark governs Greenland, and its prime minister said Trump's threats should be taken seriously, adding that an attack on one NATO country by a NATO member would mean the end of the alliance. Aaron Navarro, CBS News, the White House.
Well, an aerial search is expected to begin today as crews continue searching for a man who's missing out of Johnson County. The Johnson County Sheriff's Office says Arkansas State Police plan to deploy a helicopter while a grid search of the area continues. Crews will also remain on the ground searching on foot. And we have some new developments today in the Amber Waterman case. Court records show Waterman's defense team has filed 17 motions ahead of her April trial. Many of those focused on jury rules and limiting what evidence can be presented. Waterman faces the death penalty in Benton County for the kidnapping and killing of Ashley Bush and her unborn child. She's already serving a federal life sentence, but a judge has ruled the state can move forward. A motions hearing is scheduled for January 21st with jury selection set to begin on April 7th. Also in Benton County, 2 people linked to the death of a Northwest Arkansas wrestler have pleaded not guilty. In July, authorities say Kevin Nickel was found shot near East Highway 12 and later died. Michael Hogue faces a first-degree murder charge, and Amanda Penny faces an accomplice charge. Both of them are scheduled for pretrial hearings on February 9th. And more than a month after a mother and her 2 children were found dead in their Bonanza home, investigators continue working to piece together what happened. Charity Bialis and her twin children were found with gunshot wounds 1 day after a final divorce hearing in Sebastian County. Court records show her husband, Dr. Randall Bialis, was arrested earlier this year on a domestic assault charge and later pleaded guilty. Experts say in cases like this, investigators closely examine forensic evidence.
There's typically some type of triggering event. Why did it occur on this day instead of a week before or a week later? So the day is important and time is important because offenders have choices that they can make. So why wasn't it a month earlier?
Authorities say the investigation is active and detectives are reviewing records, phone data, and witness statements. No public threat has been identified. Meanwhile, people are seeking answers in the city of Hartford after learning the police chief is no longer employed. Mayor Alan Tabor confirmed in a statement that when Police Chief Kelly Perez reported for duty Monday morning, she was told her position with the city had been terminated. The mayor's statement did not indicate why, but some residents say with lack of police, they're worried about safety.
And to hear that Chief Perez had been terminated last minute notice at a last minute City Hall meeting, and the word got around quick in a small town, it's really disheartening. The people were already not feeling safe learning that 2 of the 3 officers in this town were being terminated at the first of this year, and then to find out last minute that the chief as well is gone.
5 News also reached out to the city attorney's office to learn more, but have not heard back. Election day voting is happening now in the River Valley. Voters will be choosing the Republican nominee in the special election for the District 26 Senate seat. 5 News reporter Jacob Luthi has more on the controversy surrounding how today's election came to be.
5 Republican candidates are vying for their party's nomination to represent Senate District 26. They'll represent a population of about 80,000 people spread across Sebastian, Logan, Franklin, and Johnson counties. Today's election date, though, has been embroiled in some controversy. The seat has been vacant since September following the death of State Senator Gary Stubblefield. Governor Sarah Huckabee Sanders first announced a timeline that would have held the primary on March 3rd and the general election in November. But that plan drew backlash from residents who said it left the district without representation for too long. A lawsuit was later filed and successful, with the Pulaski County judge ruling state law requires a special election within 150 days of the vacancy. The governor and attorney general warned a faster election could create legal issues, but Sanders ultimately announced, under objection to the court order, that the special primary would be held January 6th, with the general election set for March 3rd. If needed, a runoff election will be held in February. The winner of this primary will go on and face independent challenger Adam Watson in March. Polls close at 7:30 p.m. In Greenwood, covering news where you live, Jacob Luthi, 5 News.
Thank you, Jacob. You can find details on polling locations for today's Republican primary by texting the word election to the number you see on your screen, 479-785-5000, and we'll text you right back to our with a link to our special election guide on our website. Well, an update on the new AI technology the Arkansas Department of Transportation says can detect if someone's holding their cell phone while in a work zone. We told you about this yesterday in a live report, but today we have some new information. RDOT says the technology does not track cell phones, apps, or their usage, but instead takes crystal clear pictures and can notify an officer in the work zone if a driver has a phone in their hand. The National Motorist Association's executive director questions whether the public supports technology that can look inside vehicles.
I know the statutory language says that they can enforce traffic laws, but the question is, did the legislature and did the people of the state anticipate that this was going to be happening?
The state says the goal is awareness and safety. The new cell phone detection is expected to go into effect in a few weeks. Well, a Texas family finds a rare diamond on a holiday trip to Arkansas. While visiting Crater of Diamond State Park, high school teacher James Ward discovered a 2.09 carat brown diamond. They went to the park after asking Siri for nearby mining locations. The family nearly left early due to the cold, but returned the next day, uncovering the rare find they've now named the Ward Diamond.